Godfather of Harlem is almost like a spirit within you that you have to, it's almost like a duty to you. At least it sounds like a duty to you.
Hell yeah. And I say it a lot that I'm blessed, but I'm blessed because I get to do what I believe is a noble thing. Like every day I wake up, I just would rather play with my kids, go to sleep, eat some food, smoke a spliff. But what gets me up is knowing that I actually have a noble purpose, right? I'm Rasta, right? So, when I spent some time down there, I met a couple of cats who were real shaman, real leaders of their tribe, of their group. And one of the things that was said to me and was clear is they're basically storytellers. Yeah, they're sort of healers or they're warriors or this, but throughout history, they're shaman, the leaders of a tribe, of a group, of a community. They have to be able to pass on what happened, right?
Right.
That's how we get there, right?
Knowledge.
And only in the last 500 years are we writing shit down or looking on screens. Wow. Before that, it was just people telling their stories, right? Wow. That's how you get history. Wow. And so for me, when I think about when I went, oh wow, I'm gonna be a storyteller, it took a minute, but then I started going, okay, you're not just entertaining people. You're doing more than that. My job is to open up people's minds.
So you educating at this point.
Yeah, to have impact on people. I want people to change when they watch my shit. I want people to go, wow, I never thought of drugs, cocaine like that after watching Narcos. That was why we did it.
Right.
That's why it's good. It's because everybody, at least I only did the first year, but everybody in that first year was sort of like, yo, drugs were our war. We lost, homies. Right? And all it was great, because I'm talking about people older than me, younger than me, black, white, men, women, upper class. Everybody was unified on the fact that Medellin cartel hurt everybody here somehow.
Facts.
Touched everybody.
Or impacted them.
Yeah, impacted them in some way.
I was going to key that up. Like, take me through Narcos days and how you got into Narcos.
Well, Narcos was really through Chris, who was a big TV writer at the time.
Right.
And
one of my favorite joints, by the way. I love Narcos.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Man.
And so, people have been trying to do that show, doing that story for a long time before Narcos, right? Pablo Escobar, right? Nobody quite figured it out. And initially it was Eric Newman and Crazy Jose Padilla, who had bought the rights to the book, the articles, and had gotten the rights to the DEA agents who we based the characters on, right? So they went but those are movie guys, and so they went and sold it at Netflix, and then Netflix or Gaumont, the studio, said, okay, we need some TV writers, and that they went they had seen my stuff, they'd seen Chris's stuff that was very much in alignment, and just kind of the union happened, right?
Right.
And so now we start working on it, and this is what was cool, is like back in the day at Netflix, it was like, we could actually be artists. They were like, yeah, man, you're good. Go ahead, do your thing.
It was that free?
Yeah. I mean, and free, not free like, okay.
I mean, free as in not controlling on who you were. I hear a lot of times big fashions can affect, if you don't have that certain persona or confidence, they'll shape your,
no question. They'll take your ideas and shape it for their agenda. Right? That's usually what happens. That's what happens every day. That's why it's so hard to get anything done that's real. There's so many people and entities that have agendas about the story that you want to tell.
And the way it looks, too.
And the way it looks, the way it feels, what it's saying, how much you're saying, dude. It's crazy. Anyway, this particular situation, there was none of that.
Wow.
It was sort of like, you guys are good. We're going to let you tell the story.
Wow.
And in a weird way, that the greatest thing was just, here's what you're looking for success if you're doing TV or film. You're looking for when your creative vision is the same as the business vision. When whatever you coming up with fits into their brand or what they want, boom. And that kept on happening with Narcos like this, okay? So, they financed Narcos because, Netflix's business plan, particularly at that time, was territorial. So they already had Europe and America for subscription audience, and they were going after South America. And so what they do is they go down there, they sell subscriptions, and they always put together 1 or 2 shows that are from the region. I think they're doing that shit now in India, right?
Right.
But when we go, when Chris and I go to them and say, hey, man, we got to do this all in Spanish, because these fools didn't even speak English. Like, this ain't Scarface. We can't do any accents, man. We got to do this real. Like, any other subtitle show is bombed, right? But because it's Netflix and they want South America, they're like, having Spanish? Excellent, go do that shit, yeah. Or when crazy Jose Padilla says, hey, man, we're going to hire this guy named Wagner Moura from Brazil.
Who's Portuguese.
Who don't even speak Spanish.
It's not even Colombian.
He's not even Colombian. He don't even speak Spanish, dude. Anywhere else, HBO, Apple, they're like, can you at least just take a meeting with Benicio? He's been dying to do the part for like 10 years. But because we need South America, and Wagner Moura, though nobody knows him here, he's the biggest movie star in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
And if you get Brazil, you got 33 million subscriptions right there, and that covers 70% of your nut. Wow. Once again, the business is like, Wagner Moura, excellent. They don't know the boy can go. And he gets the job and moves to Medellin, and immediately the day after starts learning Spanish and becoming Pablo. Before we even shoot, he spends the next 9 months learning Spanish and becoming Pablo Escobar, right in Pablo's hometown, right? Because that's the way he rolls.
Wow.
He's a genius, make no doubt. We don't even know. That boy is way genius, and no one's even noticed him except for Narcos. Wow. And I'm like, y'all don't know. You meet that dude on the street, he's a hippie, pot-smoking, like, hippie. He ain't Pablo Escobar. He's as far from Pablo Escobar as any human could be. And he embodied that role with such perfection. But once again, we wouldn't have seen it if the business intention wasn't there, right? Wow. And so I continually learn from that, and I look at that and I go, oh, yeah, right. And then that put us in a position to do different things, right? We had this crazy director, Jose Padilla, right? This crazy Brazilian dude who don't give a fuck about anything. He's one of them Brazilian guys who's just like, I know we're shooting, but I have to go surf with my son. I'd be like, okay, but Jose, we're shooting today. No, we're not. We'll shoot tomorrow. Well, it's gonna cost about 200 grand. Yeah, that's okay. They'll pay for the ball. Don't worry. Okay, Jose, whatever. Like, he was like that. I swear to God, like, all the time.
Fucking rock star.
He's such a rock star, and everybody, couldn't deal with them, and, he drove everybody crazy.
Oh, wow.
But he made a lot of these choices, right? From that upper level, you saying who's the quarterback, who's the point guard? Like Wagner, like the DP who shot our show. I don't think people notice one of the things about Narcos is what it looks like. Right. Everybody just feels it. But this little Brazilian dude, he understood light. He taught me more about light than anybody ever has.
The lighting of something? What do you mean?
Not even that. I mean, like, he's there, we're in Medellin scouting, and he and his boy are going back and forth in Brazilian, and they're talking about some stuff with lenses, and I can barely keep up, and every once in a while, and so I asked him, like, what the hell are they talking about? And he's like, they're explaining how light refracts differently at 10,000 feet as opposed to 2,000 feet or sea level. So it's going to affect our cameras and our lenses, particularly because we're sending all the raw data back to LA on a 5G pipeline, right? And I'm like, what? And he goes, and literally then a month later, I see what he's talking about. There's a flatness, a quality of the show, a flatness of starkness that's just a little edgy. And yet it feels real. It feels like you're watching something real. And yet you're a little bit nervous just by the color spectrum. And then you add on top of that these backgrounds that no one's ever seen, the favelas, basically, the ghettos, right? Where you got this crazy color schemes going on, right?
Colors bouncing off.
Bouncing off. Yeah. And we don't even need a production designer. We're just like, we got the production right here. It's Colombia, right?
Wow.
And then we got this crazy costume designer. It was award-winning, Oscar-winning costume designer who did the costumes and the hair and the makeup. And suddenly this show don't look like anything else on screen because of the light and the combination of this production flatness and this costume designer who just like straight up 70s, and every dude has a mustache. Watch the show. There's nobody without a mustache. Because that's 70s, right?
That's what I say.
That's 70s and 80s. That's why all these fools are looking.
Right. Everybody uncle. Everybody.
You got a little stash, right? Something, right?
Right. The Ron Jeremy look.
Yeah, exactly. The Ron Jeremy look. Exactly. So that was it. And then the other thing was, and it's a shame that it fell apart, but it definitely was the greatest group of writers I've ever worked with. The greatest mix, and we did a lot of cool stuff that was different.